phone. A couple quick things. My email will be in the chat, so if anybody wants to email me, that's great. Um, www.mattschainsawparts.com. Mattschainsawparts.com. It's up, it's live, and we have 288 top covers on there. Very exciting. Or you can get them on eBay. Doesn't really matter. It's slightly cheaper through the website, but eBay is easy, so whatever. Um, but tonight we have a treat. Thanks to Tracy, we're going to be opening some uh, 200 Ts, I think. We'll see. So let's bring it up here first so I can see questions and comments and all that stuff live, and that way I can answer stuff live for those people that are watching later. This is a whole lot more fun to do live. Please join live. Much more fun. Hey, Sean. Haven't seen you in a bit. I know I haven't been here in a bit. I know. Hang on. Let me send this link to Tracy. Bring up live chat. Cool. So I'm going to put the website in here. We now have www.mattschainsawparts.com. Special thanks to X Canuck from OPE Forum, EXCANUK, at OPEforum.com. He did the website. So thank you to Steve for that. Couple quick shout outs. I'm going to do a pre shout out to Rattler at RATTLER at OPEforum.com. He's doing my cylinder heads, among other things. You guys are going to see that soon. I can't watch it. It says it's restricted. That's weird. Hopefully Tracy can actually log in here and watch live. I hope. So, a little bit of cleanup, and then we're gonna get right to this. Anybody else having that trouble? It's restricted? I got other people. I got 6 people watching right now, so it's not really. Well, let's open the box. You can watch later. So, yeah, we've got. I gotta get rid of the 4mm here because we're gonna be using T27. Obviously, let's say it's Stihl. Actually, we don't want that in here. We want the impact because that'll. So I'm not even planning on fiddling with these. I'm just planning on rebuilding them straight up. We'll see what's left of them. Always nice, you know, triple bag it if you can. If there's any fumes or whatever, then less likely to escape with the fumes if you're triple bagged. No muffler. Piston scored. So something's up. Maybe we can clean up the head. Here. We're missing parts of the top handle on that one. Leak in tank. Okay. Piston looks nice on that one. Either way, the muffler's missing. Missing a few bolts. Great. So at least that head is going to be good. So things I like to see. Here's what I look for. Chain catcher. Is it buggered? No. Wasn't throwing chains all the time, you know what I mean? This top handle actually looks fairly new. It's missing this little foam piece. It always drives me crazy that these things are missing them. Check the AV mounts, make sure the AV mounts are good. So leak in tank. So this one would be good with like a new top handle assembly and a new tank. Among other things. You know what I didn't do? I forgot to bring down some paper. I'll make up a list. We have piece of paper. Be right back. Let's make up a list here of what these might need. So when I approach something like this, when I approach a project like this, actually I should have you guys up here. Sorry. But yeah, 5200Ts, Dan. Hey, Greg. You see and hear me? Good. Yeah, this is an 020T. This is probably this is a 200T. For all intents and purposes, the same thing. So, um, 9 watching. Who else is here? There's Greg and there's Dan and Sean left, I guess. But yeah, who else is here? Um, we have 5 of these things coming in from a buddy of mine out in Indiana, and I've known him for a while, and he just decided to send me some saws. So it's like, okay, let's do it. So he's got 5 of these. So let's see if we can go through a list here of what they might need. Gaskets. Gaskets set. And seals. Bearings. Piston. So I'm just going to put tick marks here. Both these need gaskets and seals, and both these are going to need bearings. I would definitely do, you look at the age of these things, you're looking at bearings for each of them for sure. Piston, this one's good. Would I put that piston back in? Piston, rings. So one of these will at least need 1 piston. One of these will need rings. Excuse me, sorry. Exhaust. We need a muffler. Both these need mufflers for some reason. Gas tank. Top handle. So like that whole top handle assembly. Neither of these seem to have, this has 1 gas cap here, but it'd be nice to have fresh gas and oil caps. This needs a chain catcher. Spark plugs, chain catchers. That one needs a new air filter. Both of them. This is a filter cover. 1. Foam. At least 1. Let's take this apart. See what's under here. That butterfly is green. Look at that. You guys see in there? So, probably a new carburetor. At least 1 here so far. I have to ask and see if he actually has the clutch covers. So what do you guys think? Should I just start tearing it down? So for right now, those are kind of the things that I see right off the bat. Is this AV mount? Yeah, that AV mount's cooked. This one might be okay. actually fuel line, because they're not going to do, they're going to give me a 200T tank, not an 020 tank, so. A lot of parts. Hey, man. There's a lot of stuff that you start needing on these things, like in a hurry. It's really incredible. Thing is, once you start building these, they're really quite straightforward. These plastic pieces are fine. There's a little screw over here you gotta remember to take out on the 200Ts. This is your, I think it's your winter cover or whatever it is, summer winter cover. I think he's got it on winter here. I don't think that that's the best setting for these. Most of the time you're going to want this on summer. But whatever. Brian Barrett didn't read the whole notification, saw 200T. And something about for sale. For sale would be, well, these might be. I don't know. For right now, let's assume not, but it's entirely possible these might be for sale. Gotta get them apart. I gotta get them back together. So I'm just pushing the pull the vent out, fuel line off. Actually, this carburetor. Why is that? There we go. The carburetor just kind of slides out here. Nope. Sometimes it gets hung up a little bit, but the carburetor's just going to slide out. So then you've got these two little hanging down things. One is for the choke, and it's for the throttle. So you can pull those off. Right, so that's choke. So this is choke here, and that basically gets attached last. All right. Pull your rings out, center ring. The first one I take. Yeah, these really aren't too bad if you've done, a couple of them. They're really, they're intimidating the first one, but the rest of them it's really not too bad. And you just start taking things off here. These big monsters pieces here come out. AV mount bolt. Oh, right, front AV mount foam. Front AV, that's one that's in this one. This off to the side for the moment. What I should do is just keep some junk here. I think it's generally good policy to keep all the old parts. Pretty much, as much as you can. If you're pulling stuff apart. even an old spark plug. That way you can hand it back to the guy and be like, here. So I would call this carburetor questionable. You know what? I'm going to order all new carburetors. It's going to make life much easier later. Okay. I highly suggest anybody that's doing this, don't try to get away with doing the cheap carburetors or the old carburetors. There's no point. These things eat carburetors. Off of the starter. Starter's actually in fine shape on this one. Rope's kind of starting to fray, so probably a good idea to put a new rope in here. Rope. Let's add that. Rope, one. Here, pull out the AV mount bolt. Right, I remember this first one is also connected to the ground, so ideally got to pull that out. It really goes like all kinds of gentle. One thing holding it on now, there's actually two things. One is the boat here, which I just kind of tuck down into itself. But the other thing is the impulse line, which is all kinds of hard. And they used R3 here, which is actually the wrong line. You're supposed to use R5. I don't know if somebody's been into this before, but also the black ground line, which I think just pulls right out. There we go. The black ground line just connects. So this can go in the ultrasonic. This is actually a pretty nice top handle. Looks fairly new. This is one of the things that's always driving me crazy is these darn nipples under here that the impulse line goes to. Then this is hard, oh, rock hard. So, but there's on this nipple, there's no bump. It'd be nice if there was a bump to actually hold it on there better. Hey, Roadrunner. So I'm actually gonna put this in the ultrasonic. Be nice to have another box, but I'm buried down here. That's the problem. I'm just too buried. So 2 screws with the AV mount here. And those AV mount screws are also case screws. Actually case bolts too. So this AV mount, that one's fine. This one, that one's fine too. Fuel line, hard. So we'll do fresh there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull off this plastic piece. And of course, whoever assembled this, somebody was done at the factory, would have been nice for them to position this differently. Can I get from under here? Oh, I can, sort of. So this plastic piece holds the rubber down onto the cylinder. So you really need a couple of big screwdrivers here. Bigger screwdrivers. It's funny, I mean, this is actually a pretty robust piece. It's amazingly strong for what it does. And they give you lift tabs, but they put them in the wrong spot. Stuck there. That's why I'm just move it a bit. Like that. Two bolts, actually 4 bolts here total for the tank. Easier later to push that back on. Now you can peel off the rubber. Maka, Maddie's live. How's it going? If anybody wants to ask any questions, they're more than welcome. For whatever reason, the guy that sent me the saws, Tracy, cannot log in for whatever reason, so he can't see it live, which is unfortunate. That one seems fine. These are expensive. The boots are expensive. So, if you don't need a new one. I've never never understood why they make the hole for the impulse so darn small. It makes it really hard to do the whole assembly thing. Let's get the clutch off and the flywheel. Back it off. Just bring it off a couple of turns, and then you can knock it. There you go. It'd be nice if all these flywheels actually had a similar setup to some of the other Stihls, like the 660s, where you just screw that adapter on and it just pops right off, rather than having to use that. But whatever. I'll go in the ultra soft too. Cleaned nice. Now ideally you block this string here. Where'd my string go? Somewhere around here I had some string. And you really need nylon to do this, because you want nylon rope as a piston stop when you're pulling off a clutch. Yeah. Of course, it's hanging right here in front of me. Doug. Farmer Tech. No, I've not. $13mm on the clutch, comes right off. Not too loosey-goosey, so this should be fine. Sprocket isn't even hardly worn, so nice part. I'll go back together nicely. Over here. Okay. so we don't lose them. Just so everybody knows, each one of these screws is like $2 from your Stihl dealer. So you got to be careful with, you know, what you're throwing around. Let's get rid of the dog and the chain catcher. Guides here, just pry out nice and gentle. Which model is the G111 clone of? Because generally, I'm generally of the mind that the Farmertech saws might make sense in the larger calibers, in the larger CC classes. I'm not sure that they make sense for most people in the smaller CC classes. Then again, sometimes if you go like uber cheap, then it really does make sense, type of thing. Brian, hey Doug, thought about getting a kit and putting it on my PC. Actual 200 is going to run about 1,000 times. Yeah, if you're doing, is the 111 the 200T? I don't know. I'm not super familiar at this point with what's going on over at Farmertech. Not a worn out head. It's got some scoring though. See the scoring? Rings are free. But it was lean at one point for something. It is a 200T. Yeah, so after looking at it, I'm not sure that it would make a whole lot of sense, because I think in order to make these things reliable, you need an awful lot of stuff. The aftermarket bearings are just not that good. Now, the aftermarket seals you can make a case for, but not the Chinese ones. There's certainly the highway seals I can make a case for. So one of the secrets is that these Bakelite seals are really annoying. Drives me crazy. Let me see if I can send him a link again. Hang on, guys. Yeah, so one of the secrets is the seal here. The Bakelite seals are annoying, and I if anybody wants a 200T rebuilt, the guy to do it is a guy named Lone Wolf on OPE forum. So look up Lone Wolf. So I had a discussion with that guy for a while, and we couldn't figure out what part of this seal was actually Bakelite, because it makes no sense to actually make a seal out of Bakelite. Just trying to get the key out of here. Never mind. We'll just leave the key there. I'll be able to put it through anyway. But tempted to buy one. I am to from Wagner's out in Pennsylvania. Just give it a whirl. Only about $260 for a complete set. Yeah. So odds are you're gonna have to tear the thing down. Like the carburetors. I'm not into the aftermarket carburetors for these. The OEM carburetors are a pain in the neck enough. Just not super thrilled about the AM stuff. You know what I mean? So. Let's get this crankcase apart. So we've got one. These are kind of like the regular length bolts here, but there's 3 directly around the crankcase. I think one's under the oiler here. Yeah, so I'm going to pull the oiler out. These oiler bolts are slightly shorter. They look like 12 millimeters as opposed to probably 16 for the case bolts. So often the oil hose rubber is fine. Hey, look, came back to me. Yeah, underneath that rubber, so there's 1, 2, 3 case bolts directly around the crankcase. There's this triangle that they got going, and then there's 2 more here, and then 2 at the top, and I think 1 down there. So quite a few case bolts, considering how small the case is. And the nice thing about these is that these you don't need a toolkit for to take apart and put them back together. There's no toolkit needed here. This just literally pops right apart. Like that. Now the easiest way to do the line here, your ignition coil wire, is actually to unscrew it. Case gasket's all kinds of hard. If you had to, you could probably reuse it, but because the seal over here doesn't matter. Really, all around the case, just the crankcase matters the most, and then the oil tank second, and then whatever space is up here third. But I'm live, Maggie. What's up?
Here, what?
I'm live. What's up?
Where's Mom?
I don't know. Outside, maybe?
She wanted to be outside.
Is her car here?
I don't know.
Fun, yeah. So let's get ignition coil off. Yeah, once you get all this cleaned up, it's really not bad. Those have washers. So yeah, the easiest way to do this is to actually just pop this and then unscrew the ignition coil. from the wire. The wire just threads in. Now you should be able to pull that through that way. And this comes through easier this way, I think. Again, that just pops out. So it's one thing that makes the 200T is so easy here is that you just pop that right out. The bearings are pressed into the crankcase, but the crank is not pressed onto the bearings. The bearings are just roller bearings. How old is the Rainier Cherry? I have 5 Rainier Cherries. Yes, the 592 looks mean. I have 5 Rainier Cherries. The oldest one is about 10 years. Matt Allen, just use one of Matt's tools, but 06 hope to run it tomorrow. What's the next kit I should buy? You should buy my 288 crank 288 high tops. But we can talk about that some other day. And go to Matt's MattsChainsawParts.com. The only thing on it right now is high tops, but we'll get there. We're gonna add stuff and have all kinds of good fun if I can find the time. Okay, so now we got to dig out. So these bearings are a little bit on the tricksy side. Seals right back to tricksy. Oh, that one came easy. Yeah, hard as heck. That's one. You got pomegranate trees. That's cool. Not sure I've ever seen one. You don't want to scratch. Don't want to scratch the magnesium, but these are plastic. You cannot put these in with a hammer. I'll show you how I put them in. I made a special tool to do it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull these bearings out. We're going to pull them into each other, actually. I'll show you how we do that. Put these back together temporarily. Hey, Dan. 8 sticker shock. Yeah, I know. I hate the intake boots in the 200s. Yeah, well, they're expensive. They're not bad. They're just expensive. Kind of a real pain in the neck. Stick this in the ultrasonic. This goes 2. This goes 2. In order to do this, we need 5/8 threaded rod. My seal tool works, I think so. This is a seal tool that I had made for this. It's just a piece of brass. It happens to fit right in. I should be able to just crank this on down. So I've got one seal already coming through. You can see that there. Or one bearing rather. We've got one bearing. That's good. That's out. Boom. Now I'm going to do the other. Need a washer in here, so I need a little bit of a bigger one. And we're just pulling it towards each other. That's all that we're doing here. Using the case just to pull one into the other. That's all we're doing. You could actually do this probably with a deep socket too. As long as it fits inside the seal pocket, you're good. Let's do different. Let's do this washer on the other side. Always nice to have bolts, threaded rod, nice assortment. You know, assortment of washers, nuts, because there's all kinds of stuff you can do with bolts and threaded rod. See? Just a washer there, and we're going to pull the bearing into the center part of the crankcase. I've only had a few requests for this tool, so I'm not going to have it made commercially. There's really no point. But there's your bearings. Okay, so now I gotta get this back apart. There's actually two pins, like right here, that there's two brass pins that grab it, that position it. So now these can go in the ultrasonic. As soon as we're ready for bearings and seals, you can put the thing back together. Easy as that. How are we doing on time? So it's late, it's Father's Day. So I'm going to say probably at this point it's time to call it rather than doing all 5 of these in front of the camera. I think you guys are going to get super bored. And I'm already tired. The cherry trees, we had quite a year. For those people that are following, the cherry trees had quite a year. The rot was a little bit ahead of me, but I mean, we threw, 100 pounds of cherries on the ground that were rotted, if not more. It's just, that was heartbreaking. But I did get some, and so we had quite a nice taste on the Rainiers. I went out and ate myself silly for a few nights in a row, which was nice. What else? Matt'sChainsawParts.com. If anybody wants to go check it out. 288 high top covers. For those people that are watching still, hanging out with me. There is an issue. I'm going to address this in another video, but the issue is that Farmer Tech announced 2 days after I got my covers on the market. Spent months getting the covers on the market. 2 days they made an announcement that they're actually going to make a 288. So I have a couple of months here to make my money back before potentially that investment goes in the potty. So, you guys can go spread the word that I've got 288 high tops. That would be much appreciated. Um, we don't know whether or not Farmer Tech will actually, whether this will really happen or not, but if it does, then I might be out a lot here. So, um, on the other side, if people are interested in 266 top covers, let me know because I'm thinking of starting a Kickstarter on that and seeing if we can get that going. Because I cannot fund that myself. I'd like to, but I can't. Especially based on the response to the 288 stuff so far. A lot of people love it, but it's still not enough volume. So if we start making a little more volume, then I can, we can maybe look to a Kickstarter and do 266 top covers. Questions, comments, anything else, guys? Yeah, the 888. I'd love to put one together just to do it, but right now that's not happening. I'm in the middle of the cherry season. We also have the house being torn apart. That's gotta get torn apart and put back together because I don't have any insulation in the house. Unreal. Anything else, guys? So I think I'll call it. I'll say thanks so much for watching. Curious about the investment part. Did you have to commit to a minimum? Well, Craig, yeah, the the minimum is the mold. So the minimum was the mold for the 288 high top covers. So I have 400 high top covers sitting around, and which means I need to sell about 5 a day in order to actually make my investment back. I need to sell all 400 covers at $50 a piece. So basically, it's about $20,000. So which I kind of came to the conclusion after doing years and years and years and years and years of research here that would come back nearly immediately. I honestly thought I was going to come to market with it and I'd have 100 top covers sold the first day. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to ship out enough quickly enough that I'd be inundated with orders and wouldn't know what to do with myself. Obviously, that's not that didn't happen, and so that's life, whatever. But I think there's lots of other cool stuff that I could do if I garner enough support. So if I do sell out, if I can, get rid of those covers and or sell enough that I can kind of re-up and whatever, I've got white, I've got orange, I've got blue, I've got black. I can do all kinds of colors. We can actually do all kinds of other cool parts. 084 parts or there's a 266 top. I can do 266 tops relatively easily, um, but I'm going to need to do a Kickstarter and I need about 10 grand up front, if not a little bit more, in order to do that. Once I have that, I can go ahead and get that off the ground. But I just don't know that there's enough support. At least with the 288s, I thought there was going to be tons, but I don't. I'm not seeing it. Well, Craig, there's all kinds of yes. You're going to see samples soon enough. In other ways, just we're going to leave that there. I'm really hoping this gets a little bit more visible very soon. But I've got enough parts out there right now. You should be able to see them on Facebook and other videos. Some guys have videos of them right now, as you can see them. Um, and oh, by the way, it's probably like one of the first chainsaw parts ever that has a drop a tree on it warranty. So if you drop a tree on the damn thing in the first year that you own it, I will replace it. Shipping's on you, both directions, but ship me the part back, and then I will ship you a new one No problem. Because these things are glass reinforced nylon. They're really tough. So this is actually just a sample too, but how's that? So the only place so far you can crack it if you hit it hard enough here, you can crack it. But if you hit it on any of the edges, I mean, you basically can't break it. Is that tough enough? So they're not perfect, but believe me, for those guys that are looking to run high tops, if they need something immediately, this will work. And for the money, it's great. The rest of the whole high top setup we're working on. So namely the adapters and the filters. The filters are still available in both K&N and the OEMs. So again, I'll go live another day and we'll talk about more about this. But the OEM high top filters are still available. Still buy them. These are new old stock ones, but it still doesn't matter. You can still buy these. And the K&Ns are still available. Yes, so Brian, I'm working on it. The long and the short of that is that I am working on it. But there's your K&N. They made this more round. I don't know why, but it still doesn't matter. The oval fits just fine. It's really easy to convert a low top elbow to a high top K&N, actually. And I'll show you how. By the way, the part number on that K&N is an RU3460, but you just need an adapter like this, and I'm working on it. Again, I spent all my money on just getting the other top covers there. I need to have some of the investment back so that I can invest it elsewhere. That's the problem. I have to put money into other things too, you know. That makes sense, Brian? Are you good there? All right, I think I'll call it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks very much for hanging out. Do appreciate it. We'll catch you some other time. Later.